Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center, and welcome to the world of magic and miracles, where we are gathered once again on our elevated platform of living. Now, every week, there are more people on this platform, and it just gets higher and higher. And what I'm realizing is that everyone from every time zone, Scotland, England, Wales, Costa Rica, Spain, and more, Australia, I now are called, and I am addressing the charter members of the industry of magic and miracles. This is the only industry that has no negative side effects for the humanity. It only has the best interest and the best care for everyone. And that's what we stand for. Now, I'm going to give you a lot of facts. I'm going to bring you up to date on Swisindo. We had a very exciting meeting on Thursday night, and I'll tell you all about it. But I really want to let you know that the Advancement Center is what's bringing depth to this whole experience. Yeah. We talk about systems. Well, Swisindo is a system. It's a wonderful system and has become a great vehicle for me. I love it, and I'll tell you more about it. But all the other systems have been created by people, and some people pretty unsavory. And they've made a bundle of money and left the rest of humanity in the lurch. So I'm excited about the industry of magic and miracles. Now, I'm assuming, but I can't assume, shouldn't do that. All of you know about M1 vouchers and the debt burden relief. In fact, I want to show it to you if I can find it here. This is what the voucher looks like. And I just downloaded that last night. And all you do is you put your picture, your thumbprint, and you glue it on with Gorilla Glue. No signature. And I will tell you when it's time to take it into the bank. Great. Now, 7 friends have expressed their interest in Swisindo, and 2 have become official diplomats. And one of them is, well, I'll go to Christina first. Christina Nicole in Australia was introduced to Susan Terry on a Zoom call. And in the middle of the call, first of all, Christina was just beside herself with happiness. She was just so excited because she found what she is meant to do. And in the middle of the call, I told Susan, Christina was in the Australian Air Force and she's a nurse. And Susan picked up on that and said, oh, really? That would be good for emergency relief coordinator. I said, that's amazing, because Christina said, do you know that I wrote the manual for emergency relief in Australia for the whole Air Force? So Susan is thrilled. And that's what this is all about. We all come in, we have our gifts, but where do you put them? Who is going to recognize them? How are you going to express them every day? And the other diplomat has become my buddy, my colleague, and a dear friend. She's David's mother, and her name is Vidi Jones. So Vidi was on the Thursday night call with me, and we heard many, many wonderful things. And what we did hear is that in October, We are all going to Bali for a peace treaty signing. Now, this is kind of interesting because the peace treaty, I'm not going to get into that yet. I'm going to go back and pick up Vidi because we keep talking about how excited we are that we're in the same group of health and well-being. And what makes me so excited is I'm going to read this to you because it's what we do. But what I really want to be able to tell you is that while I was reading this for the first time, my heart was happy because this is what I've been transmitting of what I dearly, dearly wanted for the world. And here goes. The Health and Well-Being Ministry. We will no longer support the ineffective recipe for treating symptoms and administering drugs and surgeries as the primary protocol for curative disease therapies. Instead, we will lift the shackles from the global natural healing communities, allowing them to reach their highest potential and fullest expression of healing humanity, thus creating the necessary encouragement to ensure natural health care. And these professionals are given the right to fully practice without fear of being imprisoned or eradicated. Ultimately, we are restoring the credibility this wellness community deserves. And re-examining and evaluating the true worthiness of current allopathic sciences and methodologies, chemotherapy, radiation, prescription drugs, vaccines, fluoride, without fear of being imprisoned or annihilated. Mandatory that all medical schools instruct a minimum requirement of 8 courses of nutrition, dietary health, and plant medicine. And there's more. Rescuing and compiling all traditional health remedies and lost practices from indigenous peoples, culture worldwide, educating and allowing current day use of these remedies, reuniting these remedies with participating indigenous cultures and sharing with the world. That's what we're about. The next thing I'd like to be able to share with you is this trip to Bali. We're all very excited. And what it is that, well, first a little background. The World Bank, which has been ever since 1945, when President Sukarno wanted to do loans and grants to help the people who really suffered the most in World War II. So much money and gold was set aside. Ever since 1961, all the countries that helped themselves to the grants and the funds for their country stole $70 trillion. Yeah. Because remember I said the people who form the systems serve themselves, but not the people? Well, that's what happened. And M1 is very forgiving, and he's invited every country to come to Bali and sign a peace treaty. And those funds will be forgiven. If they don't sign, there'll be dire consequences. But he expects everyone to come together, all the countries, sign the peace treaty, and the best part is anyone in Swissindo will have their trip paid for, and we will be there. And then I'll have more to tell you about. There's so much information. It's amazing. And I know that this is an update. So David did an update on Friday, but I have something to update right now. We are not 3 individuals doing a broadcast on our particular day. We are serving our tiny community. We're serving all of you on this ever-expanding elevated platform, and we're serving each other. Now I'm going to start with Genya. Genya spoke so eloquently about what makes her dance, what music makes her dance. And out of the blue, I realized that I had been born into a family of music and music performers. I had music clearly spelled out for me. So I never discovered music. So there's something very exciting about what does music do for me. And after the program, I was sitting out here on the patio with my ears set on, earplugs in, and I was listening to Jerry Mulligan playing jazz. And all of a sudden, I was in a deep conversation with that music. So thank you, Genya. Friday, I had the joy of listening to David. David, who brings so much love and humor and the permission to have fun and be mischievous. But at the same time, he carries a message that I know is essential for every woman on the globe, in the globe, on the globe. And that's why it came home to me, because Adrian in Scotland surprised all of us. And he made a clip of David's speaking. And the part that he chose to record was David presenting a bridge to the dimension of the sacred feminine, escorting the female back to wholeness. Now, this is an old flyer, but if you ever see it, and if you ever hear that it's in coming to your town, don't miss it. Because all I had to do was hear those words from David, and it brought back the entire experience of being at his program, which is amazing. You speak to any woman who's attended, and she'll tell you it changed her life. Now, if you happen to belong to a feminine group trying to get back to their own wholeness, get in touch with me, and I'll send you the clip. Because every woman needs to hear these words these words of encouragement. I have skipped all over the place, but I am so excited because I have so much to share with you. But here are some thoughts that I want you to know about. Because remember before I said every system has been created or manufactured by people? Well, perhaps not the right people. But I know I'm speaking to the right people because we are the people who are going to make the difference. And I know that every week there'll be more and more people joining you simply because you see the value of what you are bringing and that you want everybody else to be with us. And what I'm really asking you to do is pledge allegiance to yourself. Pledge allegiance to your gifts and let everybody recognize them and value them. And it doesn't have to be Swiss Indo. Do you realize that if we're all holding and transmitting, we can change the world? First of all, you are the authority of your own world. Don't let people come in there and manipulate and rearrange your thoughts. You know who you are. And just remember, the elevated platform of living is where we all gather together and support each other. In Robert's words, he said, find a way over the fence without following like sheep. And when you find that way, transmit it. Now, I have a little anecdote to tell you. I remember hearing it, and I never thought it would be so valuable. Robert tells the story about his mom. And for months, she would, in Australia, you have the local council. So if you want anything done, you have to write to the local council. And she kept seeing what everyone needed, and it wasn't being supplied. So she would write letters to the local council, never get an answer. Months went by, and she would complain to Robert and say, we need more footpaths, sidewalks here. We need the stop sign to be moved. We need, what else do we need? We need the bus stop to be changed and made simpler. And we need this and we need that. And Robert just said, very simply, well, tell it to the big tape recorder in the sky. She looked at him and said, okay. And she did it. And what was it? A day later? A day later, she got results. You know, people talk about, I had this great idea and then that guy stole it. Well, that's what's at work here. You have a great idea. Can you imagine all of us together holding one idea? And we put it up there and we put it out there. You're going to have results. And we're all going to share in the good results. We also have been speaking about advanced intelligence. Yeah, we have that too. In fact, it is your advanced intelligence that recognized the Advancement Center, that recognized these amazing broadcasts. Robert and Simeon constructed and helped us and showed us and convinced us. And now We're here. Now it's time for us to really see our value and our worth. And we are going to do amazing things. It's funny. Each one of us knows how to fix the system. So let's go, and instead of asking for it, let's give it to ourselves. And how are we going to do that? I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll do it. You know, it's funny that we always think that the political entity has all the secrets. Well, they're going to have to release these secrets under the present system. And I want to ask all of us to hold in our picture the releasement of all history known by how it has ripped the people up. As far as I'm concerned, no more. Not acceptable. No more, because each one of you know what to do if it was put into your hands. Think about it. We've just been sitting here. Now we are going to be active angels, working together, edifying each other, recognizing each other's strengths, listening to each other's dreams. And all I could think of is my new best friend, Vidi, because what was it, at 6 o'clock this morning? She sent me something that was so delightful. I can't find it. She said something, oh yeah. At 6:48 this morning, I got a text from Vidi. A thought for you. If you receive Swisindo and your copy of the M1 voucher, you are on the elevated platform where there is infinite possibility, called magic and miracles. It is not about the money. Can you imagine the whole earth glowing? Thank you, Vidi. I'm excited, can you tell? The day before this broadcast, I am marinating in so much excitement and love and feel every one of you. We had someone visit. By the way, the magic and miracles are almost commonplace, which I'm embarrassed to admit. But we had guests the other day, and he came complete with a diagnosis, and he left without it. Can you imagine? People are receiving diagnoses, and they're taking it into themselves. And Robert said, no, you're fine. No. The other day I started coughing, and every once in a while I was coughing, and he noticed. Now, I've been a therapist for forever, and psychologically, coughing is inability to express. You have something to say and you can't, you choke it down. So Robert said, well, get rid of that. I mean, I hear that a lot. Robert says, well, stop it. Stop it. Okay. He said, if you give it attention, it lives. If you tell it it's nothing, it leaves. P.S. No more cough. I got a call last night from the East Coast. It was midnight there, from a very dear friend who was so confused because she had two doctors telling her she had to go to the emergency room. But she said, but they don't understand. I'm anemic. And she said, and I really want to go to the concert in Central Park tomorrow. I said, so go to the concert in Central Park. She said, well, I do have an appointment Monday with my alternative doctor. I said, you trust him? She said, well, I've gone to him for 20 years. I said, well, you sound terrific. Enjoy the concert, have your appointment on Monday, and give me a call. She couldn't believe that I called her. But sometimes that's all it takes. A friend to hear you and to tell you to stop it. Only I do it nicer. Robert just says, stop it. But that's what we are for each other. We are here because you've been calling out for this to happen. The same way as I've been calling out for the healthcare to change in this country. So look to the Advancement Center. Give us your good ideas. And if you have a burning desire, we'll figure out how to do a broadcast remotely. We are all here together. And the best thing that ever happened to me is that I discovered that I'm not limited to finance. I can talk about music. I can talk about love. But the most important thing I want to tell you is how important each one of you is and how each one of you represent thousands. Don't hide this under a bushel. That's why we made the broadcast $1. And some of you, thank you. We've received many $10. And we really appreciate that. I love visiting with you. I prefer having you here in our living room so we could have conversation back and forth. And you could ask questions and you can tell us about the magic and the miracles that you've experienced. And if anybody doesn't dig what you're doing, remember last week? This is very important. I'm going to read it again because I needed it. Every time our invitation goes out, someone unsubscribes. They unsubscribe because they've never been to the broadcast. And I now have a little secret. It's called PRR, the Personal Reception Room. And they obviously fell for that it's too good to be true thing. So I'm going to read this again. And Robert wrote this, and it really helps me a lot. I've even gotten some negative emails, and it enables me to just answer them with love. And here goes. Everyone has a personal reception room. This is where your mini yous acting on your behalf receive incoming information and immediately apply the appropriate stamp of approval or disapproval, mostly disapproval, because of years of training. The stamps are clearly marked ridiculous, outlandish, outdated, too far out, and most of the time the new idea is just tossed away in the bin. You might ask, how can there be any new information entering your field to experience if your reception room has a very small window of acceptance or even a brief glimpse of a possibility of something other than what you are familiar with? Protection from anything new. Obedience to a set of rules set by that little policeman who watched your intake since childhood. Or perhaps it is a lazy man's way of keeping everything low-key and at the status quo. What a perfect climate in which to take charge of whole populations of people satisfied with the status quo and repelling all progress or improvement via becoming conscious of a never-spoken truth. Don't be put off by others' personal reception rooms. Just keep being you. Thank you I feel every one of you with me. And if you'd like a copy, just send me an email and I'll send it out to you. Because there are a whole lot of people out there who are yelling and making noise about everything that isn't. So now I bid you goodbye. I'll see you next week. And thank you so much for coming and sharing. And we wish you a perfect life, perfect health, and an extremely magic future. Thank you.